If you just joined us, this is The Press. We are reaching you live from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. All right, so we'll go straight to analysis for today. And our guest on the show this morning is Captain Yahaya Jarabu, retired. He is the National Coordinator, Northern Alliance Movement for Tinunu Shettima Support Group. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's good to be
here. Good morning. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's start off with politics. Nigerian pilot says this is treason. Federal government accuses Labour Party presidential candidate Peter B of treason and admonishes him not to incite people to violence over outcome of 2023 presidential elections. La Mohammed accusing me of stoking insurrection is totally malicious and fictitious, and that's coming from Peter Obi as he insists that he never discussed or encouraged anyone to undermine the Nigerian state. So my question right here is, before we continue, viewers, our phone lines are open so you can call in to make your contributions or ask your question. But my own question here is, I keep asking, if we're done with the elections and then we already have a president-elect, supposedly, if all of this court or legal tussle has died down, we're expecting to have a new administration, even though it's the same party administration sworn in May 29, 2023. So why do you still have this pocket of skirmishes and then people having this, trying to dig out things that are not even existing? Why so?
Thank you so much. In most cases in politics, as we said, issue of litigation, you have to go to court, you have to do one or two things to resolve the issues. But in this our 2023 election, there is so many issues that are not been known, though there is some element of sign of these issues of religion and ethnicity that we have started talking about. And by and large, you see, at times we need to tell ourselves the truth. After the election, the winner emerge. The best thing you do is for litigation to solve any problem that you think that you have. But in a situation whereby the Labour Party are still shouting after taking...
Is it the Labour Party shouting? The APC are not complaining?
Because that's why it's a counter. It was when they leak out the issue of Obi discussion,
which is actually his privacy.
Yes.
But then prior to that, the APC members, few APC members actually came out on a protest, and they said they were protesting that people should move on and actually tell them congratulations.
But which they refuse to do that.
But you do not have to protest for people to tell you. Do not tell people how to feel.
Protesting. You have gone to court. In a civilized society, you wait for the outcome of the court. Maybe if you think that the court didn't do justice to you, that is when you can now come up for protest, because you have already maybe leave the issue of court, you have not been okay with the court decision, you can come with another form. In democracy, protest is a means of bringing attention or getting your right done. It happened.
But he's not the one crying foul here. He's actually saying that the APC government, the information minister, is accusing him of insurrection.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Why he is mentioning the issue of their conversation with the pastor is what generated this reply issue by the Minister of Information. Had last 2 weeks that we never heard about this information. You know, this information come out and it reveals some secrecy that have resulted to some political gladiator to observe it as part of resurrection, or you are trying to is part of incitement. Somebody said that this is a religion war, a country with a multi-religion society that has so many religions. So when you say it's a religion war, you know, it assumes that you are trying to like bring religion ideology to fight for your cause, which is undemocratic in Nigerian context. And that's why when I reply him in that form, though they have breached his privacy because at least by even the NCC law, you have right to your privacy in terms of documentation, in terms of call, in terms of voice or audio, whatever. But we don't know how they dig to his privacy and come up with this issue, though the NCC is denying that maybe it's not from our source. But the bottom line is that they are the one that they have to come down. They have started protesting even when their case is in the court. Now with this,
other parties are also protesting.
Yeah, but who are the major complainers? The same thing with PDP. Atiku went to court, but he later come out to be protesting.
APC are also on the streets asking people to accept the...
Yes, because these people are saying no. And by right, as we said, they're supposed to go to court. And they have been to court already.
So are you trying now to say that APC is liable to protest and other parties cannot protest? Because even looking at it now, how do you protest for people to actually congratulate you? It doesn't who are you telling to congratulate you? It's your members. Because the other group have called their members to reject the result. And you yourself, you have to counter it by calling your members to support the result. It's issue of popularity, it's issue of population, it's issue of who has the highest vote. But by right, they're supposed to go to court and wait for the outcome of the court. If you are not satisfied, you can still come out to protest as part of your next step. It's part of democratic means of getting your right done. But in this case, if APC is sitting preparing for transition, then now opposition are planning or saying so many comments. You know, this propaganda is creating so many issues of discussion, of even cycle of the society. Because now, if you said somebody heard that, somebody is saying that this is war, which is not war. Is it war? It's not war. But the issue is that there's a choice of word. As a politician, they have to guide their utterances. They have to choose the word to say.
So do you also say this, give this advice to some of your chieftain, APC chieftain, who come out to also make inciting statement? Because the truth be told, during the elections, all political parties made one statement, either religious or ethnicity, almost use it to further divide Nigerians. So at some point, you have your chieftains who come out to make such statements on behalf of your party, and your party, either your political party or the president-elect, none of them has actually come out to deny and say that no, these are not statements from us. So do you also make this take this advice to your own chieftains?
The advice is a general advice. That's what we say. People should choose what guide their utterances so that they will not bring any crisis into the country. Because at times these minor utterances bring crisis that can result to either civil unrest or insecurity. So I'm not only supporting my party only for the winning sake, but for further entrenching democracy dividend. We need not to be talking to our opponent like we are fighting each other. We should talk in decorum. We should talk with wisdom and understanding to bring the people to us so that even the Nigerians will now love us as a party.
That's what people are saying, because now you've won the election, so yes, there's no point actually making such statements, because your president-elect has extended the olive branch to people, asking them to come and support his government. So if you keep making inciting statements, then what's the point? You're already the winner.
Actually, it's unfortunate, but at times, you know, like this issue of labor, which is generating so much issue, you know, is if you look at the situation, the way things are moving, or the way the comment
Let's quickly take this call before you continue. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, beautiful morning to you, Orji and Babajide.
Good morning.
Great morning to you, sir. God bless you too, sir.
Good morning, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Let me quickly respond to 2 or 3 issues. Before the presidential election, I want the captain and you, the journalist, to make some comparative analysis in what I'm going to say. I'm going to quote from what Annabel made mention before Nigeria may not survive if Peter Obi lost that is credited to Adebanjo. This was published in the Daily Post. Then the second one, on the 9th of February 2023, prepare for post-election crisis for Great United Nigeria if Peter Obi fails to win presidential election. Credited to Adebanjo. Then another one on the 5th of February 2023, one way to averting the looming violence if Peter Obi is not declared winner by indigenous. If you do the comparative analysis with what is going on ground, how could Peter Obi get declared that he's not part and parcel of what is about to happen or what is going on? That's the question on ground. If somebody like Adebanjo would come out and then be revealing this issue today, you had the news that the Yoruba youth are calling on Adebanjo's violation. You understand? So many things on ground. That is by the way. Then let me talk about the security issue. I could remember a retired officer is there. On the 2nd February 2022, NOBody come out and plead on the federal government to create or establish a theater art in the Northwest. 11 mentioned Kaduna, he said Northwest. Something similar to what they have in the Northeast. So that to tackle the security issue, the insurgency that is happening in the Northwest. But today, where we are, how I wish Mr. Rufai fought this issue of theater art the way he fought the Naira redesign. Maybe it would have been a different story. That is why lastly, the issue of business. Foreign investors are showing our states, almost 24 states or 26 states. Now the question is, where is the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission? What happened with them? They were established to promote and encourage foreign and local investors to invest in the country. Even though I know we have problem of energy, I could remember 2019 up to 2020, there is issue of a business contract between the federal government and the Siemens company to establish electricity supply of almost $2 billion US, which we are to have 7,000 megawatts on 2021, 11,000 megawatts on 2023, and then lastly 25,000 megawatts on 2025. What happened with the contract? How can we encourage your investors when you don't have the energy? Are we going to expect miracle and Eldorado? Thank you very much. I remain SMB from Lagos.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
from Lagos. Thank you for that contribution. All right, let's leave politics. Let's talk security or insecurity, as the case may be. Blueprint newspaper. In fact, almost all the newspapers have the same caption. We'll start with Blueprint newspaper. Says fears as killings, kidnapping escalate in Kaduna, Kogi, Kano and Niger State. Kaduna government confirms abduction of 8 students and others. And then 2 kidnappers who murdered Niger monarch Nav. DHQ allays fear over deployment of UN fighting equipment. At some point, we actually thought that the insecurity has died down, and then we're back here again. Are we ever going to stop talking about insecurity in Nigeria and kidnapping of school children?
Security is part of human life and part of human existence. You can only be putting preventive measures, protections, strategies plan for you to be secure, but you can't be in total security. But in the case of Nigeria, we have so many causes of insecurity that was not being addressed for so long, and if it had not been addressed, we continue having problem of security from this dimension to another dimension, tomorrow to another dimension. When you look at the beginning of the Fourth Republic, we started having issue of proliferation of small and light arm in the society. Demilitarization, after the military handing over to the democracy, there is series of illegal arm from the cycle that created so much insecurity. Now with our forest border, you know, if you look at Nigeria, we are sharing almost 1,000 plus kilometers of border with other country, which is porous, and that have give access of small arms to the country, and drugs, illicit activities. You know, anytime you see issue of small arm, insecurity in terms of terrorism, in terms of kidnappers, in terms of bandit, they always have relationship with drugs activities, because it encourages them. Thank God now we have a new sheriff in town in terms of drug law and enforcement agency, Jarabu, which is, I think they are making some collaboration with custom in order to control the illicit activities from the border side to the country.
But
because everything we have,
I recall that, sorry I
country.
had to butt in there, but I recall that President Muhammadu Buhari shut down the borders for over a year. Did that actually do anything significant at all?
We can't undermine it. It did a lot, because if you look at even the border importation of goods and services pass through the border, and it is from the border you see large quantity of goods coming into the country. Like if you go to Badagry, for example, now you see in a day when the border is open, more than 300,000 vehicles are coming to town. The same thing area of Katsina, area of Jigawa, where we have border here in Kebbi State and the rest. Even if you look at the Cameroon border, in off-home border, where you see the issue. But it have curtailed at certain extent, because even the Boko Haram, the government have been able to bring down to certain level is with the collaboration of Cameroon, Chad, you know, and Niger. You know, we have a multi-joint task force between the 3 or 4 countries that help. And look at from the northwest, though the kidnapping issue have continued disturbing the site, but when you look at the dimension of the insecurity of northeastern region and the northwest differ due to some reasons, which is even sometimes we don't need to be using military to even solve some of the problem. Some of the problems are non-kinetic problems, like you know, bandits in the northwest is between the Hausas and the Fulanis. People don't know why there is problem there.
The Hausas and the
Fulanis. Before these people are together, we don't have any problem. They are peaceful. Now, why are they fighting themselves? We have to ask. There's certain question that is beyond carrying gun, sending military. There's certain thing that is a political activity that causes it and is want to solve it.
What exactly is the issue between the Hausas and the Fulanis who have resisted for decades?
It's issue of resources control. Who are the ones that benefited from the dividend of democracy? It's issue of land, foreign reserve, grazing reserve. These are the causes of the problem. You know, it is when a Fulani man, normally they are living in the bush. The Hausas, they are in town. With the coming of Fourth Republic and the stability of the democracy, they are the one to be. They are the politicians. They are the richest people, and all the land that is being used by the cattle rearers have been shared among the Hausas, to the extent that they push the Fulani close to the border to Niger.
Are you saying that the Hausas are marginalizing the Fulani?
Greatly now on that level, in that aspect, yes. And that's one of the causes of the problem. They rise to come back. A Fulani man has 100 cows, to the extent that today he may not even have 2. The next thing, what will he do? Is to fight you. Why? Because one, the Fulani will go, maybe mistakenly his cow touch some of your farm produce, you take them to court, thereby they give them charges or whatever. Police collect, village chief collect, you are his lawyer collect. At the end of the day, they become wretched. And that's why they are fighting back. So instead of you losing his cow, it's better for him to go and sell the cow and buy guns. That's what they are doing. That's why you see when they are moving in chain, in groups, 200 group, 200 bike with everybody with gun. Where did they get it? They bought it.
They bought it from who?
From different source. That's why we are talking about the proliferation of small arms. Very, very important. Recently, I heard that the National Assembly is making a bill for creation of National Commission of Small and Medium and Light Arm Commission, so that they can have means of controlling all these small arms. The bill is still on. We don't know whether they have passed it to the presidential setting for his assent. We don't know, but it's still lingering.
So how do these people access all these arms to start with? Because of course we know Nigeria.
Yes,
it is not illegal.
It can be in different dimensions. One, if you look at the report, some they got it from the security agencies, among the corrupt security agencies.
And that means we don't have a body that actually checkmates the security agencies to say, oh, you were given so and so arms, you are not accountable to them. If you are given over 100 arms, how do you account for this 100 arms? If you have, how many police officers do we have?
Yeah, it has been proven that some security agencies or officers, they are working with the criminals. It happened now. Look at what is happening now, the case of Babajide recently now. Police. It's a part of it now. Supporting drug dealers. You understand? You know, going to NDLA to maybe rescue offenders. It's part of the collaboration. It's only the one that you saw. There's so many collaboration between criminal element and the security agency. So now then beyond that, we talk about our cross border. With the uprising in the North Maghreb, there is North Africa, so many weapons come down to Nigeria through wrongways, all through our borders. A lot of this thing that I'm telling you now, go back to police record, you see that a lot of security agents are involved. Police have made so many arrests. So police have made arrests of so many suppliers of this weapon. Is there in their own record?
All right,
they know about it.
So we already know that there are some arms that you cannot find with individuals or with anyone. For instance, AK-47, you find them with criminals, with bandits and kidnappers. And then you just begin to wonder how it got to their hands. So I understand that you are a retired captain, so you are a security official. So and you are, you say that the security have an hand, some of the securities have an hand in supplying arms, small arms or light arms to these bandits. So when you were in service, what did you and your colleagues do to curb that menace, so at least you can start punishing offenders to serve as a deterrent, even in the long run?
Not even during my service, even up to now, anybody found wanting like this thing we're talking about, it will not go free now. Most look at, I make mention of Babajide. Where is he today?
But you're saying they didn't go free. Sorry to cut you short. We have cases of Boko Haram people they've arrested, and right now they went to rehab, and now they've come up to apologize to Nigerians to say they are sorry and they are being let free into the society.
Our own question and your own question is not the same. It cannot be the same. These are military or police or SSS. When you say security agent, anybody can involve.
Okay.
Nobody that will be arrested that will go free to serve as a deterrent. There is so many rules and regulations. There are so many level of punishment. Even some will be dismissed from the service and sent to court, and court will imprison them. It happened now. Recently, this case of
Anambra,
the case of, I want to tell you one case of this guy, one kidnapper done in Lagos, that he was arrested in 2015 or thereabouts. Evans.
Evans.
He is some soldiers are his collaborators now. Today, where are they? They are dismissed and they are pressing the case together with him. So the military or the security agent don't take it lightly. But it is the one that it didn't expose. You know, you can't do any magic. There's so many action now. Then coming to issue of Boko Haram, you know, repentance or forgiveness is part of peace, security and reconciliation. These are citizens who take arm against the government and later surrender, even by international law. When you surrender, you can't. Nothing will happen to you. You will be rehabilitated and be free. This is international law. If, for example, now we used to have during Aradua, they give amnesty to who? To people that took arm against the government or against the state, the militants. Militants take gun against who? Against the state. But when they surrender, they are let go, and they are even giving, they are rehabilitated and giving even job, because sometimes we have to look at the remote and immediate causes of the insecurity. So
you agree for amnesty to bandits?
You see, yes, there must be amnesty to people that committed certain crime which is not meant for by themselves. The society push them. I'm not mentioning of their predicament. These are people that have been denied certain right. They never go to school. You are not even giving chance to go to school. You know, hospital in their own area, no road in their own area. They never even benefit the dividends of democracy. So what are you telling me? And they are citizens. Not that they are fighting you.
Is that actually an excuse?
Yes.
All right. Let's I'll allow you continue with that thought. Let's quickly take this call. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Tell us anymore where you're calling us from.
Yeah, the regular caller is Akin from Lagos.
Mr. Akin from Lagos. Good to hear from you today. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Today I want to restrict myself to the issue of security. One thing I just noticed about our politicians is that they all come out when they need the post. And what they want us to elect them. And unfortunately, this is cut across all the parties. They only come to this podium, tell us stories and so on and so forth, and leave. Some come with helicopter and so on and so forth. But the real vital thing will never be discussed. Now, these are one of the reasons we are not getting anything right. Now that the gentleman sitting there, I have some questions to ask him. Right. First and foremost, well, thank God, so far we have gotten a president-elect from your party, that is the APC. Now, the first question is that, aside from that, and also that depends after the court's ruling anyway. So, considering his performance in terms of security in Lagos State, because those of us that live in Lagos State for many years, we know how Lagos was and we know how he's able to tackle that. Now, my first question is, do you think he can extend all this across the country? And do you think he's capable of making it happen without some people actually preventing him from doing that? Because it seems like there are some people that have some interest in lack of security in the country. That is one question. Then the second question is, what is he going to do? And to tackle the issue of, especially, I'm not trying to go against one tribe or whatever. We are all Nigerian, we love ourselves. But what is the special thing about the Fulani? That you see them with AK-47 and weapons like that, okay, going around. And to the extent that when they have issue with people, they can gun people down. These are clear things that we can see in this country. So what is his plan to bring that kind of thing down? And also, we know their cows and everything are very important to them and also important to Nigeria. But issue of migrating from one part to the other, encroaching into the farmer's farm, what are the strategies? What are you going to do to prevent such kind of thing? Oh. And also, what strength is there? Finally, what strength is he to prevent foreign intervention? Because whatever crisis is in some country, there are some foreign hands and collaboration with people right inside the country. So I want you to tell us Nigerians today, because we are waiting for you guys by the time they swear you in. We want to see the action, and I bet you, if you guys don't do the right thing, we'll be the first to come out and criticize you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aki from Lagos, for that contribution and question.
Thank you, Mr. Aki. Let me start from your last question. The issue of foreign intervention in crisis. You know, Nigeria is not living in isolation. Nigeria is part of global society, and we know there's a power of interest, global interest, that can even mar your security architect because of their own interest. Because at times when you don't have insecurity, you don't need the foreigners, because it's a big business. It is only a weapon that you can expend billions of naira, millions of dollars. In fact, during Willie Jonathan, when he's going, he signed $1 billion loan. So, and where? Because you want to go and buy a weapon from the foreign country, because they are the manufacturer, they are the one that has the capacity or has the technology to produce weapon. But in this case, we have our foreign partner, which we have a military pact with them, bilateral military relationship, like with the British, the America, and some other countries that they produce weapon. Any gun you see, we purchase it from different countries. We don't manufacture it. And if you see even the military wears, when you see soldiers standing like this, is some dollars standing. The cap, the shirt, the trouser, the boot, the belt is something we purchase from foreign partner.
So they're not local mates.
They're not.
And we keep saying patronize. Let's patronize Nigeria.
But the issue is that
Nigeria.
We know Nigeria, there's some local company who are manufacturing, but they don't manufacture to that standard. That's also our problem. Our problem is that we have problem, Nigerians. They cannot do quality things for you.
You can't totally rule out the fact that Nigerians don't.
But for the military wears, thank God, or whatever.
Innocent Motors.
Yes, they have started doing military vehicle, which is a very good one, and we saw them in the field, which is good. But in terms of their wears, I'm telling you, go and check. That is the foreign partners. And the issue of what would he do to bring security like he did in Lagos, which is very, very important. Even though you say Lagos is secure, it's secure not only because of the mighty of the military power or the police power, it is because of the policy, good social policies that can change people's life, that can give you hope, that you make you can be idle. And idle mind is devil's workshop. Yeah. So the issue is that as long as Tinunu is a welfareist, he has good progressive ideas, which right from the beginning, they are the founder of the APC, the merger and the rest. So he is going to extend the Oliver spoon to everybody. If you have done that, you cannot be hearing all this problem. That we still talk about, you cannot be using kinetic means to solve insecurity. You must come down to social problems. When people have what to do, there is good in innovative environment. We have investors who come and invest in the country, who give employment to our people. Government is doing policy in tandem with the people need. You don't have problem of insecurity, but the more the government continue doing what they like without taking care of the problem of the people, insecurity will never stop in this country.
I'm going to ask you two questions, because you've not touched on one of the questions that Mr. Akin talked about when he talked about the third one. He talked about the Fulanis, and then you know that there are some serious elements that are interested, especially the cabals. That's one on the side, and then you talked about that. I'll allow you to respond to that. Then secondly, you just mentioned something about there are no jobs out there, and so you would always have this kind of skirmishes and then banditry happening. So then we saw on the dailies this morning, I can't remember which paper, but I'm sure it's either on the Nigerian Pilots, that says unemployment rate will get to 40 over 40%. And that's coming from a report from KPMG. And we remember we were for a long time in 33.3%, and then Nigerians were complaining. And now seeing that we are going as high as 40, over 40%. So what will your party do in that regard? Are you planning to industrialize, get so many industrialization, get into urbanization, build industries and all? What are the plans?
Hey, you know, that's what I'm saying now, that it's still what I'm saying. Why Lagos is secure is because of enabling environment, because of investors.
But is Lagos fully secured?
But this is what Mr.
We are throwing the questions to you now. Do you feel Lagos is fully secured?
Yes, now.
So what extent?
Because as I tell you, you can't have 100% security. Even in Europe, we are talking about, we had people killing people. That's why we had people going to court. Even in Europe, that's.
But if you had to rate Lagos on a scale of 100, what would you rate?
At least 7, which is okay. You know, you and now with the proliferation of so many security output, which they are trying, but sometimes when you have so much arms in the hand of people, it creates so many anxiety, threatening the society peacefully. So it's another thing. The issue of Fulani that we are talking about. Fulani, as I said earlier, it is we that push them to be carrying guns because of what? Cow rustling. People attack them, collect their cows from them. Before Fulani started carrying gun, AK-47, as he mentioned, they used to carry bow and arrow, traditionally. Bow and arrow, and some maybe like another thing to protect the stick. But the criminals too against them become so sophisticated. That's why they decided to start.
So you're trying to say, because on the Punch this morning we have suspected herders kill Benue community leader, 2 others,
which is unfortunate, and it is because of this farmer headman conflict that is resulting to all this crisis.
So you're trying to say for those that were kidnapped along Abuja to Kaduna Road, it was because of farmers and others dispute. The people that were kidnapped on the rail train station from Abuja to Kaduna, is it because of the others? Of course, that is what you just said now, that you said, oh, the banditry people carrying gun. You see, people, most of these people, they reside in the bushes, right?
Yeah, but herders and the bandits cannot be the same now.
I'm talking about suspected herders for Benue.
But the issue is that.
Let's quickly take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Fortune Arowolu. I'm calling you from Asaba in Delta State.
Fortune from Delta State. Go ahead.
Correct. Kudos to that analyst in the house. At least he has been able to, to touch deep about what is happening in Northwest, because so many people hitherto this time around did not know what is going on. But he's been, I think he's a Fulani by tribe. So, but I don't want to know. I'm not interested in knowing that. But he's wrong when he said that Hausas are marginalizing Fulanis. I'm a well-traveled person due to the nature of my job. But I learned a lot of things between Hausas and the Fulani. I think if there are people who have suffered a lot of victims, between these 2 ethnic groups, it is the Hausas. When you talk about the traditional institution, that is talking about the emirates and all the political posts as at now, you hardly see a major city in the north that is occupied by Hausa, a core Hausa origin. All of them have been, occupied by Fulanis. And they now also fail to tell us that prior to 2015, there were, intruders from, there were some machineries from outside Nigeria that were imported by these same Fulanis, Fulani leaders in the north for a particular purpose. And if today these people are roaming about, going about everywhere, disturbing the peace of the nation, then it will only call for those people who imported them, their brothers or their kinsmen, to take them back to where they come from. So it is not true that that the Fulani can be, they can be forced to rank their cattle, just as everybody pay for their business premises and they are paying tax for the nation. So I think that would solve the solution of farmer header splash, because it's not happening in the north alone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fortune from Delta State. All right, I think we've actually overflogged this matter and our time is fast spent. But before we finally let you go, let's talk about, let's go to Guardian newspaper. Says, talking about the former U.S. President Donald Trump's trial. And the Guardian newspaper captions it this way, says, test for Nigeria's Themis as Trump faces trial. And then you have a lot of people coming out to say the same thing, that former presidents being tried. 38 count for felony, 34
counts for felony.
Really? And then, so do you actually see that happening to an African president, former president, or a Nigerian former president?
It happened now. It happened. Some former presidents went to jail, sir.
Before they became president, or
after the president. We have people that are.
We're not talking about the military.
The military regime, of course. We're talking about the civilian regime.
We have only this. At times it depends on his own character. Ordinary as a citizen, man, there's something. There is a way you behave. Nobody will even talk to you. Nobody will have any issue with you.
True.
So even though you have ex-president, if you commit offense, nobody is above the law. It happened now. Even in Cote d'Ivoire, the former president Babu, or one of them, he was in jail. What happened to the former president of Guinea-Bissau, who killed Thomas Sankara? After his presidency of 20-something years, he went to use in jail. So it can happen.
Even in Nigeria.
Yes, after he left the military as a former head of state, he was jailed by Abacha with his deputy, Eradua. So it depends on your character, your behavior. If you conduct yourself very well as an ex-president, you maintain your immunity forever. But nobody is above the law, because if you look at the trial now, it's a personal trial now. It's a case between him and other people, almost a lady, 3 ladies, push money. These are personal issues. She can go to court and claim, the court cannot say because you're ex-president, I will not try you, you are about to be trial, even though you disprove a least person in the society. Then the issue of felony is another big crime. It's part of treason. You commit a crime against the state. So, as far as I'm concerned, nobody's above the law.
All right, that's a fine way to drop this conversation. Thank you so much. Captain Yahaya Jarabu. It's been a wonderful time having this talk with you.
It's been a nice time with you, sir.
All right, so viewers, that's where we end this segment of the show. We've been talking to Captain Yahaya Jarabu Umar, retired, who is the National Coordinator on Nothern Alliance Movement for Tinunu Shettima Support Group. And it's time to go social media route. This morning we'll start with a particular video, since we're talking about the military in Africa or in Nigeria. There's a particular video of a military officer who was is it a march past or a marching past or something like that. Let's see that video and then we'll come back to take more social media trend. Okay, so I have to laugh because after all, people right there, they laughed. So please, it's not like I'm laughing at, but really, it was even the turn for me, the about turn for me, really. All right, so let's take another video, and this one is a video of we saw it actually trended last weekend, where we saw 4 men pushing the new blue rail, that's the train in Lagos. And then we saw particular comments coming from some people saying that let's take that video, then we'll come back to take more on the comments.
See, and I push up. This is Lagos, so now the Molo rail where they say they don't commission. Might be this Nigeria. You can never have it right. See, they push Molore for up. So that's how the train gonna go for road. The zone all lights go finish. They'll come they push out like this. My guy, this country now 0. Dead on arrival.
So that's the new train, the electric one that was recently commissioned by President Mahmoud. I had to put recently so that you get to know. All right, some comment says from Timmy. He says they promised Q1, but this project will probably be operational in Q4. I doubt they even have stable electricity to power it. And somebody else replied him and said dead on arrival. All right, so Black Jollof says laughing, but it is not a joke. Imagine if this train derails in Marina. And another person, Arochiku, says blue line train, Marina station, no start. They come, they push them. What a disgrace. All right, so and then someone else, Prince Abioye, came out to say that Lamata sent a message saying that be wary of attempts to discredit Lagos Blue Rail Line. So the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, that's Lamata, is in receipt of an obviously doctored video clip showing 4 people purportedly pushing one of the trains set to be deployed for passenger operations for the Lagos Rail Mass Transit Blue Line. From investigation, we discovered that the train was clearly moving, and this is an old video clip showing the contractor staff horsing around the train when it first came in. The area now, since the commissioning by President Muhammadu Buhari, has flags around it and as well as steel protective guard. Posting this video at this time is obviously the work of mischief makers. The average length of the train is 84 meters. This definitely cannot be pushed by 4 people as shown in the video. We appeal to our online community to be wary of those who are bent on doing everything to discredit this rail project. We have successfully, without incident, carried over 15,000 people on test rides over the past 6 weeks. For those who have interacted with the rail system, it is obviously a game changer. Okay, so
actually that's a logical thing to actually do, because thinking about it, being realistic about it, you wouldn't expect 4 people to be able to push a train that accommodates thousands of people.
Do you actually agree with that comment that came after? Yes. Or do you agree that that it's possible to push the train?
That would be the joke of the millennium.
All right, so let's take another video from social media trends, and there's a particular video of a woman who was screaming that she could not breathe in an airplane, so she needed to jump out. Let's take that video and we'll come back to take more on social media trends.
Excuse me, give me a break. I'm not breathing. I'm not breathing. Oh God, leave me. I need a place to get a break. I'm not breathing. Hey, you two with American citizens, I don't see food. I like that gesture, nothing is good. Let's get to the bag.
Well, I'm finding it so hard to understand what exactly happened. But in my own, most times I try to make excuses for people. So I feel like probably this train was in the tarmac. The plane rather. The airplanes were in the tarmac, and then the terminal rather. And then so you have some trying to move ahead.
So that means the plane was about to take off.
It was about to take off. So at that point, they might ask you. They will definitely ask you to switch off all air conditions and all
phones and everything.
Some people might not, and that's few minutes. Some people might not be able to withstand not having, like, they can't breathe. So,
but do you think what those aerosters, what they did was actually professional? Because you could see some persons pushing her back. I feel like there should have been a better way to actually manage it. Yes, basically.
All right, so we take this next one, and it's coming from Senator Shehu Sani. He says this is a dangerous school excursion that must be discontinued. He's talking about a primary school excursion where some children were kept in a wooden boat without life jackets. And I agree with him. It must be discontinued because anything can happen. So we have to be very, very careful. All right, the last one we'll take is from Peter Obi, and from his handle yesterday, he said, in the past few days, I have observed various campaigns of calumny directed at my person, with the latest being allegations attributed to the Information Minister La Mohammed from Washington, D.C. It is most unfortunate that this consistent effort to portray me quite contrary to what I am and my core values is coming from such high quarters. Minister La accusing me of stoking insurrection is totally malicious and fictitious. I have never discussed or encouraged anyone to undermine the Nigerian state. I have never sponsored or preached any action against Nigerian state. Those initiating these actions have increasingly used their official positions and agents to make false accusations or allegations against me. I am on record as always advocating for peace and issue-based campaign and never campaign based on ethnicity or religion. I am committed to due process and presently seeking redress in the court. I urge those engaged in the marketing process to stop presenting Nigeria in such bad light. Our future generations deserve a new Nigeria where they can live a secure and decent life like their counterparts in other climes. It is possible. Signed, Peter Obi. And I agree, it is possible to live a new Nigeria where our future generations can be proud of. That's where we end this press for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and to all those who called in to make their contributions, thank you so much. We do not take them for granted. I will see you tomorrow. I am Annabel Orji.
And I am Messi Babajide. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.